Should I be smiling or no?
Let me see.
Look at your smile. My name's Dana and I like Laura's dad. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my... I hate you. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a very exciting one because I'm doing a collab with my good friend Serene Woo here on YouTube. I will have her gorgeous face here as well as a subscribe button, so be sure to check out her channel. We decided to work on something together. I think we were both wanting to do something drugstore and a little high end. That way it kind of fits everybody's budget. So I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys the opportunity now to get my drugstore side or my high-end side. I think I did a pretty good job finding dupes. So not only is this video gonna be like a half-half drugstore high-end, but it's kind of like a dupe video. Some of the colors were a smidge off. It's funny because a lot of the drugstore products I ended up preferring over the high-end. But anyways, back to Serene. If you guys haven't checked her out before, her channel is incredible. She's so hardworking. I don't know how she doesn't have more subscribers. I want to say she puts out 5 videos a week, 4 or 5 videos a week. I know she's in the middle of moving right now, but she's still always on top of her game. She does amazing reviews. She has a series called Makeup Bag Mondays, where every Monday she shows you the new products that she's going to be using for the week, and then the following week she kind of gives you like her final thoughts on all the products. She's so nice. I actually met her at IMATS, I think on my Facebook time hop today. It showed up 4 years ago. I met her and her mother both were so incredibly sweet. There's something about Asian moms, maybe because I have one, but instantly I just felt a connection to her. I love her. You guys will really enjoy her channel as well. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into the tutorial and I hope you guys enjoy. Starting off with the high-end side, I'm going in with the Benefit Precisely My Brow. I have mine in the shade number 4. If you guys are wondering, I decided to do a voiceover because throughout I was kind of like talking on and off with Laura, and I just thought a voiceover would be easier. As always, I will have all the products listed down below. Now moving on to the drugstore side, well I guess after I spoolie this brow out, I'm going in with the brow pencil from the brand Koki. This one is in the shade Warm Brown or Warm Chocolate. I believe it's Warm Brunette actually. I really like this pencil. It's a little bit creamier than the Benefit one, but the colors are pretty much spot on. Now to set my brows into place, I'm going to be going into like a brow gel / fiber hybrid. On the high-end side, I'm going in with the Benefit Gimme Brow in shade 3. Now for the drugstore side, I actually prefer this one way more and it's way cheaper. This is the Maybelline, I have it right in front of me, Brow Precise, and I'm using mine in soft brown. Moving on to primer for the fancy side, I'm going in with the Makeup Forever Hydrating Primer. This primer is $37. I will say the texture of this one is much nicer than the drugstore one. They are different. This is definitely more like liquidy and moisturizing, but this version is clearly a lot less money. It is a bit thicker, but it does the same thing. If you have really dry skin, I do feel like it creates a nice moisturized barrier, but it is a bit thicker than the Makeup Forever one. To prime my eyes, I'm going to be using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Pro Pencil. This is just an eyeshadow primer and color corrector. I'm using the shade Base 1. So this will just be used as a shadow base as well as just to like neutralize any weird colors onto my lid. Now for the drugstore side, I'm going in with the Milani, what are these called? Brow and Eye Highlighters. I have mine in the shade 3, Vanilla and Natural Taupe. I'm not crazy about the brow pencil size. It actually makes a pretty decent cream contour though, but the Brow Bone Highlighter is awesome. It's actually creamier than the Anastasia one. For my eyes, I'm going to be using one palette for each eye. For the high-end side, we're going in with the Too Faced Natural Eyes palette, and I'm going to be taking the Brow Bone Matte Highlight shade in the shade Heaven. Moving on to the drugstore side, I'm using this palette from Hard Candy. Clearly, they took a lot of inspiration from the Too Faced palette. The colors are laid out exactly the same. I will say the pigmentation is kind of hit or miss, but there actually are 2 or 3 shadows that are better in the Hard Candy one over the Too Faced one. Now going back into the Too Faced palette, I'm taking one of the transition shades. I'll go ahead and mark it right here and applying that all over my crease. However, right there, I noticed that there was some leftover shadow on this brush, so I went back and dusted it off some. That's why that eye ended up being a little bit lighter. Now moving on to the drugstore side, I'm using the exact same shade, like layout wise, from the Hard Candy palette, and I was sure to use a separate brush. That way I wasn't mixing colors back and forth. Now going into the deepest shade in the Too Faced palette, I'm applying that on the outer corner. And as you will see here shortly, I'm going to go back into the Hard Candy one and use the coordinating shade. I did notice that in the Hard Candy palette, this same shadow was a little bit drier than the Too Faced one, so I had to go in and really kind of pack on the product. For whatever reason, I decided to start working on the drugstore side first. So here I'm using the shade that would be Push Up in the Too Faced palette. This actually ended up performing way better than the shade in the Too Faced one. The hard candy one was way more pigmented, butterier, smoother, and it had more of like a slight rose gold finish. The Too Faced one just seemed to be a slight bit more like champagne, didn't have quite as much pink to it, but they did overall match pretty well. Now for my liquid liner. On this side, I'm going in with a newer L'Oreal liner.
See if it showed up in the video.
I hope your freaking Barney Rebel foot goes in because I'm not editing it out. I'm gonna freeze it and leave it right there like, look at my friend's little sausage toes. Fact of the day, I actually hate feet, but I decided to leave that on there. Okay, so on the drugstore side, I'm using this new liner from L'Oreal. I think it's called like Velvet Noir or Feline Noir, something like that. And then for the high-end side, I'm using the Stila Stay All Day. This one is definitely way longer wearing than the L'Oreal one, but I actually kind of like the felt tip more on the L'Oreal. The L'Oreal was still super black and opaque, but Stila, for the most part, lasts longer. Okay, now moving on to foundation. For the drugstore side, I'm using the L'Oreal. I thought I brought it in here with me. It's the L'Oreal True Match Lumi. This is one of my favorite drugstore foundations like of life. I'm wearing this in, I believe, shade W5. Now for the high-end side, I'm going in with a very well-known, pretty overhyped foundation. Not overhyped in a bad way because I definitely enjoy it myself, but it's the GIORGIO Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. This bad boy comes in at $64 compared to the L'Oreal one, which is like definitely under $10. I think probably around $9. The formula of these are pretty spot on, like enough to the point that I feel like I could just stick with the True Match Lumi without ever purchasing the GIORGIO Armani Luminous Silk again. Moving on to concealer. For the high-end side, I'm going in with the Bare Minerals Bare Skin. I think it's like full coverage serum concealer. If you have drier under eyes but you still like coverage under there, I would highly recommend this concealer. I love it. For both the high-end and drugstore concealer, I'm going to be using the shade Fair. For the drugstore side, I'm going in with another one of my top favorite concealers. This one is the Maybelline Fit Me. Consistency-wise, they're pretty much identical, but I can say that the Bare Minerals one does have some more coverage right off the bat, but the Fit Me one is buildable to get the same sort of coverage. So I'm just going to go in with a beauty blender and blend both sides right on in to my under eyes. My under eyes, I wanted to go in with something other than Coty Airspun powder. So for the high-end side, I'm using the Makeup Forever Ultra HD setting powder, just using two separate white cosmetic sponges. That way they weren't mixing and I could really see how each of them wore. Then for the drugstore side, I'm going in with the Maybelline, I know it's by Face Studio, I can't think of the exact name, but I will have pop-up pictures up for you guys. I actually really like how the Maybelline one wears more. I think it has more of like a silky pore blurring effect, more so than the Makeup Forever one. I somehow lost the drugstore bronzer portion, so for that I used the Milani Baked Bronzer in number 7 Sienna. And then for the high-end side, as you can see, I'm going in with the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil Bronzer. Now for my blush, I found a pretty good dupe of the Tarte Amazonian Clay Blush in Seduce. If you guys are curious, that's just the IT Cosmetics blush brush. It's my fave. But the drugstore dupe is the Milani Rose Bronzer. It's just like the rose-shaped ones in the shade Romantic Rose. It's perfect. Now for my highlighter, I'm going in with Becca Champagne Pop. I know a lot of people are going to be like nitpicky about this and be like, no, they're different. They're not spot on, but they're close enough to where I thought they worked. So for the drugstore side, I'm going in with the Vegas Strip Light Bronzer from Physicians Formula. It's just the shimmer strips. Decided to go back and work on my under eye some, so for that I'm going in with the Hard Candy palette, the deepest shade, and the same exact side on the high-end side. I'm just going to take a different brush and dip into the deepest shade once again and kind of smudge that back and forth, concentrating more on the outer corner and slowly sweeping it in. Now for the lips, I was really excited about this find because they're pretty much dead on dupes. For the drugstore side, I'm going in with the NYX lip liner in the shade Ever. This is one of my absolute favorites. And then for the high end, I'm going in with the Makeup Forever High Precision Lip Pencil in the shade 12. They're just that perfect kind of deeper, rosy, mauve-y nude shade. You guys know how I feel about those. And then for my mascara, I don't really have a high-end mascara that I like or like high-end lashes that are my absolute favorite. So my mascara is just a drugstore Maybelline mascara, and then the lashes that I'm wearing are the Salon Perfect 615s. Alright you guys, so this is the final look. I really hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to check out Serene's video. I will have her channel as well as this specific video linked down below. Let me know what other drugstore types, how many more times can I say video, you guys would like to see. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!